this is Byron Griggs, and this is my demonstration video for my final project. I'm just going to be going through the instructions here and showing off all the features I have. First we have platforms. This is the starter platform, but if I move to the right, you can see more platforms here, with varying sizes and varying distance between them. Then we've got the scene composition. I've got a foreground with a grassy plain and some trees, a middle ground with fire, the player character, and some collectible items, a background with some clouds and some trees, and a skybox with mountains and a sun. Next we've got player controls. We can look left and jump left, look up and left and jump up and left, look up and jump straight up, look up and right and jump up and right. We can look right and jump right, look down and right and jump down and right. Can't jump down, but we can look down, and we can look down and left and jump down and left. And we have this arrow as well. Then we've got the objects. I already showed off most of them with the scene composition, but we do specifically need an object with hundreds of polygons, which is this sphere right here. Then we've got the model loader, which, without going into too much detail, it opens an OBJ file, reads it in line by line, and parses it based on the first couple characters of the line. Then it creates an internal structure and a vertex and index list and gives that to the rest of the program. For particles, we have this fire, which is copied and pasted a couple hundred times, but it's 100 squares on top of each other, rising up chaotically. They're red at first, and they get more yellow and more translucent as they get up higher. For shading effects, this first sphere is Phong shaded, and so is this high poly sphere. And if I jump here, you can see the specular light on it. And if I turn on the daylight, you can also see specular light on the side here. Then we've got the Gurad shading, which is this second from the right sphere, and you can see the low quality specular light, which is common with Gurad shaders. Then we've got texture mapping, which is this rock wall, this grassy plain, and the character. And then we've got bump mapping and displacement mapping, which are on the same cube. The bump mapping is the grid of spherical protrusions, and the displacement mapping is the space between the bricks. It's just a weighted sum of both effects. Next is toon shading, which is this sphere right here. Normally it's a gradient, but I put it through a formula that separates it into a small number of specific shades. Then we've got the environment mapping, which is this mirror cube right here, which reflects the environment. And I have no HDR or deferred rendering. For animation effects, we have kinematics with the jumping and translation here. We also have rotation on these objects. Then for lighting effects, you can see the daylight on these cubes, and you can see it more clearly on this grassy plain, since when I turn the light on, it's no longer lit by the sun or the torch, and it turns darker. And this is the torch. It lights up every object in the scene, and there's no shadow mapping or advanced shadow mapping. Next is the camera controls with zoom in and zoom out. Escape we'll save for later. R resets everything, even like torch and collectible counts. And then we've got this T to toggle. We've got increase and decrease speed between 0.2 and 2.8. And then we've got the camera and player controls. Next is the configuration file. It allows you to specify the objects in the scene. It's got the folder, the file name, the type, and then some extra arguments. The :O is an offset, so that's the initial position. :C specifies that it's collectible. The :R specifies the rotation direction. And then we've got the :X, which specifies it's an array of objects like this fire or the trees. Then we've got the advanced effects. I've already shown the bump mapping and displacement mapping on this cube. This is the toon shaded sphere. This is our environment mapped cube. And then we have no shadow mapping, no advanced shadow mapping, no deferred rendering, and no high dynamic range rendering. For novel features, we have this fire kill box that respawns you when you jump into it. And we've also got these collectible objects. It goes back to 0 when you reset, and then as you pick them up, it'll increase up to 12. Next we have the UI. We have the controls here, and we also have some extra data with zoom and time factor and collectibles. And then finally we have the escape key, which exits the application. That's it. Thanks for watching.